The views and opinions expressed by the host and our guests do not state or reflect those of the T and MZ show. Hello, everybody. We're back. This is MZ.
And this is T.
And we have a guest today. We were talking earlier about should a woman give her children to the dad if she can't take care of them. And we have someone that's actually experienced that in life. Everybody say hello to Forrest.
Hi, Forrest.
Hey, what's
Hey,
up?
Forrest. How do you feel about that? You're the father that's done it. So lay it out for us.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of hit on it earlier. My take on it, and this is what I always tell people. Everybody, like every 6'7" man is not meant to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They're not coordinated. They don't have the stamina. They don't have the physical ability to do it. Every person is not fit to be a parent. I kind of equate it to this, right? You have two types of parents. You have reptiles and you have kangaroos. Right?
Okay.
Kangaroos, they're great parents. They carry their babies around until they can't carry their babies around anymore, right? Until they really outgrow the pouch.
Right.
Okay, so you have those type of parents. And it's just instinctual.
Right.
It's not,
exactly.
It's innate.
Right.
It's given to that's how they're born. Reptiles, on the other hand, they lay their eggs and they out.
Wow.
And you fend for yourself at that point.
And there's women and men that way.
And it's very important that we understand that there are women that way, because we tend to think of, especially black men being that way. But it goes both ways. So, yeah, if my situation was that, it's with my daughter, she's 30 now, and I received her. I'll tell you, give me just a second. I'll tell you how it went. So her mom, in the beginning, she would bring her over and say, okay, y'all can keep her for 2 days or whatever, right? And we're like, okay, cool. And 2 days turned into 2 weeks and 2 months, and then we just ain't even seen her in 6-7 months. And but it went on from there. I got custody of my daughter, and and that's what it was.
Right.
And we knew, my mom knew, I knew that if we didn't do it, my daughter wasn't gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
She was gonna have a long, hard life.
You had to step up.
I had to step up, and that's what I did. So yeah, I mean, if one parent, whether it's a man or a woman, if one parent isn't fit to do it, doesn't have the ability to do it, whether it's financial or whatever, if one parent can't do it, then it's up to the other parent to make sure it happens.
So how did that affect your life?
Oh, I do a lot of mentoring, and I like to tell young brothers, whatever you have planned, can we cuss on the show?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Whatever you have planned, that shit is done if you have a kid as a teenager. So, I had a kid, my daughter as a teenager, and I don't really tell them what's done, but whatever you have planned, you put that shit on hold for about
kids
12.
Gotta come first.
That shit on hold for about 12 years down the road. Whatever it is, like me going to college, I was at Prairie View and my mom had my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, one semester, she said, after this semester, you gotta come take care of your kid. Like, damn, but that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So my plans of finishing at PV and going to Thurgood Marshall Law School in Houston, all that shit was done.
Wow.
I had to go take care of my daughter for the next 13, 14 years, and I wasn't able to go back and finish college until my daughter finished high school the same year I finished college.
Well, let me ask you this. Hasn't it been a labor of love?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great. And one of the things that helped me through it was one of my professors at PV, because it wasn't a labor of love then, because I was stressing.
Yeah.
Right, I was young. I was stressing. I'm at college. My daughter is back in Dallas, so I'm stressing all the time. And I sat with one of my professors, and he told me, told me to look at it a different way. He said, most people, when they're grandparents, they sit their child on, when they're older, mm-hmm. they sit their kid on their lap and talk about what happened back in my day. Right.
Right.
This is what happened, and that is what happened. And this is what you should expect, blah, blah, blah. Well, he said to me, and this has stuck with me, and it really helped me get through it. He said, you and your daughter will experience all that.
Wow.
There's nothing to tell your daughter because you have lived it and experienced it together.
Absolutely.
And that really helped me get through not, being away from her, knowing that, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. But when we're together, we're experiencing life together.
Yeah, you're growing together.
We're growing together.
Absolutely.
Right.
You're learning how to be adults and deal with things together.
Exactly.
Because you were so young. Wow, that's an experience. So what you're feeling, women go through it all the time. They raise children on their own by themselves. But for a father to step in and do it is out of the norm.
Not anymore.
Well, you're right.
I'll
give you all of that.
Right, because it's just, being a single dad has been like getting that new car. You've been eyeing that new car for like 2 years and you finally get it. And then once you get it, you see 1,000 of them. You're like, damn, everybody has this car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So since when I became a single parent, I don't know what happened, but the floodgates opened to single dads.
Yeah.
And it is tons of single dads out there.
So let me ask you, because I'm curious for myself, how did your daughter fare?
Well, she did well.
I mean, have you talked to her deeply? How did she feel about not having her mother in her life?
Oh, well, see, that's another story. Because her and her mom have a very estranged relationship.
Yeah, she didn't have the bonding period.
Right. And it's crazy because DNA is a mofo because they are exactly the same. Wow. And they never really spent time with each other. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like they've been away from each other for 90% of the time. But they are like, they look alike, they talk alike, they think, they like the same kind of guys.
So they have a relationship now?
No, absolutely not. It's still estranged. And I think it stems back to her not being there.
Because I always tell everybody that my biggest thing with my mom was that I didn't have that bonding period. From that age, the younger age is the time you hold her hand, you kiss her, you hug her, you learn her ways. But she's not there. You don't have that. So, and you can't get that back.
Right.
No, you can't. But seem like your situation may be a little different than his.
Yeah, it is.
His mom, so she had a female role model, someone there helping her to, feel good about being a woman.
Right.
In your case, did you have a grandmother, aunt, or anybody there? No female.
No, not really. Not anybody consistent.
Okay. Yeah. His daughter had someone consistent.
Right. That's a big deal. And to see, most of the times men will come in the child's life, on the side while the mom takes care of them and not really take the responsibility. But to see you come in and do what you did for your daughter. You have a son too?
I do.
How old is he?
He'll be 21 in September.
Okay. In the same situation or?
No, I was married to his mother. Kind of went sour. She had custody of him for a few years after the divorce. And then some things went down and I took it back to court and I got custody of him.
How old was he when you did that?
When I got custody of him, he was about maybe 8 or 9.
Bingo.
So did the court system give you a hard time when you came to try and take custody of him because mom had custody of him?
No. Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question because he was 10. The court system, at least in Texas, at a certain age, they take into account the child, where the child wants to be, wants to be. And so they do the social study and all that, and they interview the kid and all that. So I didn't have a lot of problems because I knew he wanted to be with me.
Right.
And I knew when they interviewed him, that's what he was going to say. And I actually tried to let her know that. I just wanted an extra day or two because I knew he was, the time factor that he was getting from her wasn't happening.
Right.
So I wanted some more time and she refused. So I just took it off.
Okay.
So do you believe that, like with a young boy, that there comes a certain time in his life after he gets a certain age that he really needs the guidance of his father?
Well, I think that's from the womb. since he, from birth. I believe this. And, I love my sisters. I really do. But one thing that I don't like that I don't hear as much as I used to, single black women saying, I can teach him how to be. You can teach him how to be a good person.
Right.
But that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
I could not teach my daughter how to be a woman.
Exactly.
I could teach her how to be a good person and do good and have good intentions and strive and persevere and all that. I couldn't teach her how to be a woman. But as far as, so the father is needed from day one.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He is. So, I do agree. So, going back to your son, so did he say, I want to stay with my dad? that prompted you, or what prompted you to take that outside of you needing more time? Did he say something to you?
Yeah, it wasn't. He needed more attention.
Okay.
You know, he was the youngest.
More male attention.
Attention.
Or
period.
just attention.
Attention. Period. He was the youngest of 4 children.
Okay.
And when my ex-wife moved, and when we got married, she had 2. I had 1. We had 1 together after we got married.
Okay.
So subsequently, when we divorced, she had 3 children. My son was the youngest of those.
Okay.
And she was a working mom with 2 other children.
To take care of them.
So the time just wasn't there. And him telling me that is what prompted. He wanted to spend more time with me because she wasn't around as much as he wanted. And that's what did it.
Yeah. So now your relationship with your kids is very tight, I'm assuming.
Pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
And what about with their mom?
Yeah, we're cool.
I mean, with the kids, are the kids kind of still distant? Or?
From their mother?
Yes.
Oh, no. Well, my daughter is.
But your son is not.
No, my son, no. My son is closer to his mother than he is to me. Mm-hmm. Because, that he's a mama's boy. Okay. So, dad putting them knots on his head, not necessarily physically, but,
Yeah. Put some stuff in his head.
Right, and on him about things that mom would let slide. We're not as close as he and his.
Do you think they're well-rounded?
Pretty much, yeah. They came out.
What about your daughter?
She came out really good too. She don't
take no shit, right?
No, she don't take any shit. She's beginning to be more and more like me.
Exactly, but that's what she knows,
right?
Yeah.
But I truly believe.
She emulate.
Mm-hmm. I was raised in a single parent household. I raised 2 children and single. But I truly believe that kids are more well-rounded when there's 2 parents.
Absolutely, the Bible says that.
Right. So they came out well, but. It could have been better.
Yeah.
But, you got to do you got to make it do what it does.
So let me ask you, why do you think they're more well-rounded when it's 2 in the house? I'm just curious.
Because you're getting 2 different perspectives on life.
But that's only if both parents are involved. Because you could still have 2-parent household and you could have a parent that's not active.
Well, I'm assuming 2 active parents.
Okay, 2 active parents. Right, okay. Right.
Because if it's you're totally right. If it's just one, it's different than
right. It's no different.
Some parents, some 2-parent households have single parents.
Correct.
So
I'd like to make sure people understand that
that's
because
true. That's true.
I mean, my kids were raised in both parents in the household, but yet still there were some times where my husband would be a little bit more quiet on things where I feel he could be a little more vocal. So it goes back and forth. So
it's interesting the way the world's changed because. Well, I guess I can't say back in the day moms wouldn't walk away from their kids because they did. And I think the opportunity that I did get with my mother to ask her about why she did it, and in finding out her history, her mother walked away from her. They were living in the South. Things were bad. She had all daughters. She sent all of her daughters up here to live with the relatives that lived in the northern part of the state or the country so that they wouldn't be mistreated or treated like slaves or whatever. So it was easier for her to do it because it had been done to her. So it is kind of generational in some aspects.
Yeah. History repeats history.
It does. It does. But I really want to commend you, for doing what you did because it's awesome that you did that. I mean, it's like really cool.
You know what? I know we're about to go to break, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I'm not with that.
I know.
And I always
because you did what you were supposed to do.
I always hated hearing that when I was raising my kids.
And I hate saying it too.
But men don't do it. A lot of men don't do it.
So. Well, they
I don't think they should be applauded for what they are supposed to do.
Right. I didn't cure cancer.
Right.
I have no magic potion.
But you could have walked away, but you didn't.
I was supposed to.
You were supposed to, but a lot of people don't.
No Scooby snacks needed.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back
with the
Tea
MZ show.